So when I first got called to Massachusetts, I was a little disappointed because I wanted to go somewhere foreign, learn a language, kind of have that experience. But then I read further and it said you'd be speaking Cambodian. So I was like, well, that is new. That is interesting. I guess I can do this. And learning Cambodian in the MTC was really hard that first day, just walking in, and the teacher is just like, hey, or he just, right when we walk in, he's completely speaking Cambodian, and I have no idea what he's saying. We're just playing charades for a while. But that was really good because it kind of helped us learn the language faster. When I finally got out to Massachusetts, I was a little taken aback because it wasn't as much Cambodian work as I thought. A lot of times we were doing English stuff because we were serving in an English ward, and a lot of the Cambodians were on record as being baptized at one point, but a lot of them had fallen away, less active. There's a lot of kids baptized when they were younger, and they'd kind of forgotten that they were ever baptized by this point, 20 years later or so. And so a lot of our time we'd be like trying to visit these less actives. And you know, some of them, they'd be like, oh yeah, we remember the missionaries, we remember that, and they'd invite us in. A lot of times they'd be thinking, you know, who are you? So we didn't get a lot of Cambodian work. And Lowell was the area that had the most Cambodian, like densely populated area. And so I only served there for one transfer, and then I went to Lynn, which has quite a few Cambodians, but only one active family in the church. And so learning the language was difficult. Like, I felt like I had a good grasp from the MTC, like a good base, but definitely not even close to being able to function fluently or anything like that. And when I got transferred away from my trainer after one transfer, I was with my MTC companion again, so neither of us spoke Cambodian very well. And it became a matter of like, okay, if we're going to teach Cambodians, like, we have to be ready. And so every opportunity we could, we would take to speak. We'd speak with each other every day. As hard as that was, when it's so much easier to speak English, you got to speak the mission language with your companion, because that's who you're with all of the time. That is really important in learning the language. It doesn't matter if you're stateside or foreign, speaking with your companion is something that will help you learn the language the best. Then seeking out opportunities, like we would set up appointments with members to go over there and just practice teaching a lesson in Cambodian, just to get experience, so that if the time did come that we met someone who wanted to listen to us, we wouldn't make a fool of ourselves. We could actually speak the language. And then on the streets, you know, we're supposed to talk to everyone. A lot of times it gets hard if someone's like across the street or whatever you see. But like, we made a special effort. If they were Cambodian or they looked Asian, we were going to catch up to them. We were going to talk to them. And even if they didn't want to hear our message, we would just try to keep the conversation going long enough to where we could get some practice. We'd even ask them, hey, can we just practice with you? We just want to ask you a few questions about your life, see if we can understand, and then can you ask us some questions? So just looking for opportunities all over the place to speak the language. We took language study really seriously, because that was the bulk of our language practice, was in the mornings. And I feel like I learned a lot of Cambodian out of the Book of Mormon and out of a few other books that the MTC gave us. And I definitely feel like my reading is a lot better than a lot of people learning Cambodian, but my speaking is not. That was a challenge because it just wasn't as prevalent. But it just goes to, you know, taking advantage of any opportunity to speak. And, you know, even coming home, doing the same thing. I go volunteer at the MTC just to be in an environment where I can speak Cambodian. I see some friends on campus that served in Cambodia, and some people might say, oh, that's not cool to speak your mission language on BYU campus because everyone does it or whatever. But like, I go up and talk to them in Cambodian, and you can tell that a lot of people are just like wanting to speak their mission language, to keep practicing it. So just to learn the language, stateside, foreign, whatever, just talk as much as you can in that language, and it will come.